Joining us now from Little Rock, Arkansas, is Bud Cummins. Now, he was the first assistant U.S. attorney for the Central District of, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's the Southern District of Arkansas. Anyway, he was there for a while and wanted to get his point of view about these fraudulent charges. So we've been hearing this since 2020, primarily from President Trump, that the elections are rigged in the United States, and California would be the poster child for that. On a validity scale, do you believe that?
By my definition, they're definitely rigged. I don't think the president is wrong at all to suggest that they're rigged, but they're rigged by the California legislature, like you mentioned. The central problem, Bill, is that California's legalized much of the machinery that you and I remember as the old political machines used to control elections. When they did it, it was illegal. But now California has made all the steps that they had to fight their way through to steal an election legal. Those are the things we see. We see, the slowness of the count. We see how many ballots, they mail ballots out to everybody now. They let people go out and collect those ballots, and there's no limit on how many one person can go out and collect to turn in. So by the time the ballots are collected and then the votes are separated, there's no way to determine which votes are legal or illegal. And that's by design.
Don't the local voting precincts check to see if these bundled ballots are legal?
Yeah, but if you permit me, let's go back and let's look at the history of how the votes have been stolen historically. Sometimes they went and stuffed fake, the Pendergasts, the Huey Longs, the Daley machine. They would stuff fake votes in ballots. They would destroy ballots. But that was not their main expertise. Their main expertise was doing two things. They'd buy votes, sometimes with cash, sometimes with whiskey, sometimes with gifts, but oftentimes with patronage. They had the grants, they had the jobs, they had the government contracts, and that's how they went out and bought votes. But the second main area that we know that they targeted, including a guy named Sheriff Marlon Hawkins, who wrote a book he was from Arkansas. He wrote a book called How I Stole Elections. So that's kind of a spoiler alert. But he was very good at going out and identifying people that they could persuade to vote for his candidate, getting them to fill out an application for an absentee ballot, getting the ballot and voting it for them. But that was a lot of work, and because of the safeguards in the system, it kept the numbers down a little bit. California has made every bit of this legal. They mail ballots out to everybody. You don't have to file an absentee ballot application. In Arkansas, even today, a person that goes out and collects absentee ballots can only collect 2 in any election. In California, you can collect 2,000. So
more
and
than
you can be
paid
it's
unlimited. It's unlimited.
It's unlimited. So you can go to Skid Row, you can go to the welfare office, you can go to poor people who've been told that rich people hate them. You can go to people of color that have been told that they're victims of racism, and you can convince them, maybe by paying money, maybe just because they're sympathetic to your cause, to give you their ballot and let you vote it for them, or they vote it in your presence. You can carry as many, but once they're voted by the person who's registered and their signatures on it, there's no way for the people at the precinct to determine how that vote got voted and how it got into the envelope.
So why
and
is
they are literally mailing a ballot to every single registered voter in California, where, by the way, voter registration requirements are almost nil. So in California, your vote matters about as much as
foreign nationals can vote too, right? If they have a phony social security card or an address or something like that, foreign nationals can vote in California. Nobody's going to hunt them down.
According to my understanding, you don't even have to have a legitimate ID to register. So
anybody can vote. It's a free fire zone. Now, what is the federal government looking at here. You know, the Justice Department saying, okay, we're going to go in, we're going to look at Newsom, his wife, and all of this stuff. Because the Constitution gives the individual states the power to regulate their vote, what do you think the feds are looking at?
Honestly, I mean, they'll probably find that there's thousands of people on the street gathering ballots, thousands, tens of thousands. Most of them are being paid by somebody. They're turning in thousands of ballots. None of that is illegal. You can be paid to do all that. You can't be paid per ballot. That's the only rule.
But you can be hired as a bundler. You can be hired to do that.
They may want to track and see where that money's coming from. But again, it's funding legal activity. That's how California has intentionally made their laws. Where in Arkansas, when I was a United States attorney, we would see it. If we saw a guy walking around the streets with 100 absentee ballots and a witness could tell us about it, we were already into a voter fraud case because that's illegal in Arkansas.
Right. But again, each state can do it.
That would bother me in California, but it's not going to be illegal.
But I'm not sure at this juncture whether the federal government is going to come up with, particularly because the party that controls the state and the media working together have already said it's unfounded. They've already said, no, we didn't do anything wrong. No, we're just following the letter of the law here. The legislature passed it. They have the right to do it under the Constitution. I'm not seeing the way in here for the feds. Last word.
Well, they're playing word games. They're saying the president's accusations are unfounded. They're baseless. There is no evidence of fraud because the things that normal, honest people are complaining about are legal in California. It bothers me and it bothers you, and it would bother anybody that wants a legitimate outcome that they're sending out these millions of ballots, that people are collecting them and gathering them however they're gathering them, through gifts and payments of cash or whatever, and that there's almost no way to enforce what little law they have out there because of the way that they've made all these processes.
Yeah, there's no way in California. The California
and
people
the dailies
did
so well back in the day. It's legal now in California.
Right. All right, Counsel, we really appreciate you helping us out. Thanks very much. If you learn anything about this specifically, let us know. We are on it, that's for sure. That's why Pratt, who was the Republican in the Democratic primary, they call it the jungle primary, that's why he got knocked out, because he was winning, and then all of this other stuff said, because remember this internal polling, and said, we got to get all of these votes against Pratt, which they did.